I'm visiting all 30 MLB ballparks. Today, I'm heading to Chicago. When you visit Wrigley Field, you're legit stepping into baseball history, where ivy-covered walls and an iconic scoreboard have stood witness to over a century of great moments. And as the second oldest ballpark, it's got a great nickname too, the Friendly Confines. Wrigley tickets aren't cheap either, especially on the weekend. For our group of 6, the closest I could get to home plate was section 120, row 9, and that set us back over $200 each. The perks? You're in the shade all day and can enjoy in-seat service by scanning a QR code. 50/50 came around too, but no luck there. And if you want frozen drinks or this nacho helmet, those can be purchased at the concession. Same with these souvenir beer bats, which will set you back a bit. As for the downside, honestly, there's absolutely nothing to complain about. Before I dig into this game, let's start at the beginning of my journey, shall we? After checking in, we immersed ourselves in the sights and sounds of Chicago. Though our visit is just a weekend getaway, I have to say, the city feels clean, safe, and is truly an architectural marvel. Wrigley Field is just a 20-minute ride from our hotel. From downtown, you can easily hop on the Red Line train or take a quick Uber, which is what we opted for. And $50 later, we were dropped off right at Addison and Sheffield, where I caught my first glimpse of the park. My first stop is Wrigley's iconic marquee at the front of the stadium, and it's absolutely stunning. This must be what the Polo Grounds or Old Yankee Stadium felt like. The stadium isn't this massive coliseum looming on the horizon either. I was surprised by how seamlessly it blends in with the surrounding buildings. Clark Street is packed with bars and restaurants, including the famous Cubby Bear on the corner and Sluggers right next to it. The neighborhood, known as Wrigleyville, is simply awesome. Along Clark Street, you'll find Gallagher Way, which is home to Statue Park, as well as the Team Store. Speaking of which, let's grab some souvenirs. Onward to Waveland Avenue. I really enjoyed this part of the stadium, as you now get that sense you're in a neighborhood. This street has seen its fair share of home runs on it, and even over it. If you're watching from the bleachers, all roads lead to Murphy's, the iconic Wrigley bar. It was too crowded to visit today, but that's okay. Harry Carey can hold things down here while we head to our seats. As I step into the stadium, the field calls to me. My first observation, I'm surprised with how shallow the outfield wall is in the gaps. Between that and the concession area, I can see why they call it the Friendly Confines. Let's dive into the game. The Blue Jays are in town for a Saturday afternoon matchup, so we're not the only Canadians at the ballpark today. Jays fans travel well, even if their team is currently in last place in their division. The Cubs are battling for a wildcard spot with just a month left in the season. The excitement kicks off with a leadoff home run from Ian Happ, but it isn't long before we face the first of 2 rain delays. So for now, we wait. I've got some family with me, so let's see if they can name some players.
Who's the first Cub you think of? Chicago Cub. Ryan Sandberg.
Great pick. Most Cubbies fans should remember the Ryan Sandberg game in 1984.
Amanda?
She doesn't know any.
First Cub you think of?
Babe Ruth.
Not quite, but Wrigley Field is the location of the Babe's famous called shot from the 1923 World Series.
First Chicago Cub you think of?
Bellinger.
True, Cody Bellinger is part of the current roster.
Ditto.
For me, I think of Kerry Wood, specifically his 20 strikeout game. Alright, let's get back to the game. I love defensive plays by the catcher, and this game was full of them. There was plenty of small ball too. Michael Busch added a 2 RBI triple here, which is the most exciting play in baseball if you ask me. By the 7th inning, the Cubs are up by 2. Time to stretch it out. As rain begins to fall again in the 9th, Addison Barger takes Jorge Lopez deep, narrowing Toronto's deficit to 1. With 2 outs, this brings up Jays slugger Vladimir Guerrero Jr. as the potential tying run. Ball game. And that wraps up our wet and wild day at Wrigley. Thanks for watching.